What's up, everybody? It's Andre Iguodala from the Golden State Warriors here. It's my pleasure, on behalf of New Amendment and the Point Forward podcast, to invite you all out on Friday, March 10th, to Beyond the Big Ten live recording taking place at Over Under Sports Bar in Lincoln Park, Chicago. That's Friday, March 10th at Over Under from 3 to 7 p.m. Look forward to catching y'all there.
Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of the Wildcat Alley podcast. Alex Marcotullio, my boy Juice Thompson. We also have a special guest on the pod today, the one and only Wildcat legend, Drew Crawford. Thanks for joining us, my boy.
Man, thank you for having me. I'm happy
of course,
to be
man.
on.
We got an exciting episode. Obviously, we're gonna chop it up with you. Talk to you about your career, what's happening overseas, what you're up to now. And then obviously, the meat and potatoes, everything is Northwestern's Cinderella season. It continues, right? We've locked in that number 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament. We have an exciting week of college basketball ahead, and most importantly, Big Ten basketball. So we'll definitely break that down for everybody. Give our opinions on how the Cats' outlook looks moving forward, and then obviously we'll get into some fun stories about when we were playing together. So looking forward to an exciting episode. Juice, you were obviously out on the West Coast this week with the fam, showing the kids some love at the Warriors game. So walk us through that and talk about how your weekend went.
Yeah, man, it was a great weekend. Wanted to get the kids out of school for a few days and, take them on the West Coast. My youngest is, one of the biggest Steph Curry fans there is in the world. So even though he didn't play, both the kids were happy to be there in the building. We got, taken care of, Evan Turner, Andre Iguodala. They really looked out for us. Got the kids, some autographed merchandise. They got to take photos with some of the players. So it was a really good time, man. We just got back, earlier today, and here we are on this podcast. And, I was getting in a little bit of trouble on that trip watching that Northwestern game while we were doing some sightseeing. But I had to support the Cats. And, now we're here and we got the legend, Danny C's son, Drewski, on the podcast. This is what we all want to hear. How's it going overseas for you? What's new? We see on social media your parents were out there. How was that?
Hey, man, I'm just trying to follow in y'all's footsteps, man. You guys sound good. I'm tuning in every week. I'm listening to what you guys have to say, and I'm trying to be like you guys when I grow up.
Man, hey, we all grown now.
I know, right?
A long way away from Burger King late at night.
Shout out Sherman.
Shout out Sherman. I'm doing well. I'm out here in Italy, playing in my 9th professional season overseas. And, life is good for me. I'm thankful to still be playing basketball and doing what I love to do. I'm still playing. My body's getting older. I'm feeling a little bit older. It takes longer to warm up every game, but I'm still hooping, and I'm thankful every day to be doing that. So, I've gotten the chance to play against you, Juice, a few years ago now. We've played against each other, and then getting ready to play against John Scherner coming up tomorrow. So it's crazy how small this basketball world is. So, no, life is good. I'm happy, and I'm enjoying still playing, and I'm enjoying following.
For sure. Prediction for tomorrow.
Make sure you tell Scherner. Please tell Scherner I own the one-on-one series against him. Remind him of that. That'll probably get in his head, make him miss a couple of shots.
What's the prediction for tomorrow, Drew? You guys got a good chance, and then your points versus Sherna's points, over under. Who's taking home the crown there tomorrow too? Okay, I'm gonna say in this competition, Sherna's team is way better than our team. We in terms of this in our Euro Cup competition, we're in the same group. They're 11-3, and I'm not even gonna say our record, but one of our wins is against Scherner. Okay. So far in the year, I'm 1-0 against Scherner.
There you go.
So I'm taking my squad coming up.
Okay. All right. We got to look on Eurobasket.
And points over under. I don't know. That's tough. I'm gonna shoot for the over/under is at 15, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be a good night for the Cats, and we're gonna both be at 15 or over.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. But we take the win.
There you go. That's most important. You got to get that W.
You get the dub. Shern gets his too. We're all good.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the perfect night. We need the win. We need the win more than they do.
Yeah, definitely. It's getting to that. It's getting to that tough part of the overseas season. So you know what you got to do. Take care of that body. Get that extra stretching in, and be ready to go. Finish up strong, my man.
Exactly. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a grind. It's crazy how long these seasons get. Like, it's a full 10 months. It's a long time to be away from home. And especially down the stretch, it gets long. You miss home a little bit more. Body gets tired. The travel feels a little bit rougher, but
right. And on paper, right, it seems like you play less games, right? In these European schedules, it seems like you play less games than another league such as the NBA. But when you break it all down and you play all these other competitions, right, in season in different countries, it adds up, right? All that extra travel, you're traveling in between countries, sometimes multiple times in a week. That stuff can add up, man. And you're not flying on luxury jetliners like these NBA guys are either. So that could take a toll.
Nope. For sure it does. For sure it's tough. I got my neck pillow for every flight because I woke up with too many stiff necks on an airplane ride.
Yeah, and you tall too. I hope you're getting that exit row. I know all the tall guys used to try to fight over that.
If I don't, I'm switching seats with the youngest guy on the team. If I don't get my exit
there you go.
I wouldn't even be betting money on the buses and flights. That we'd be betting for seating arrangements. playing cards for seating arrangements.
Hey,
there you go.
Sometimes it's more valuable. Sometimes it's more valuable than money. Mm-hmm. Like our flight tomorrow, probably from Italy to the Canary Islands, where Shern is playing. Yeah, I want to say it's got to be a 5-6 hour flight, and we're lucky to have a direct flight there. Normally it's connections, but at least it's a direct flight, and but it's a long trip.
I thought you would have to stop in like Madrid or something like that, or Barcelona in order to get down there. But
yeah. Usually that's what we do.
Okay. Wow. Well, good luck with that, my man. And now let's get into some stuff with the Cats, my man. I'm sure you all been keeping up. We dropped a close one against Penn State at home, which we felt, we gave away. And then, we had that big win yesterday on the road at Rutgers with our backs against the walls. So what do you guys think about those two games? Anything that stood out? You excited about anything going forward? What are you guys' thoughts on those last two games that we had?
Yeah, I'll kick things off with the Penn State game, Juice. I think we... obviously we talked about this leading into the game, right? It's an emotional night. We have a very, senior-led team. So, the likes of Chase, Robbie, of course, Boo and Roy, those four have been an integral part of our program over the last 4 or 5 years. So it's always an emotional day. It's always an emotional night, and sometimes that can get the best of you. We obviously didn't shoot the ball that well. We struggled from the field, but our defense held us in it as usual. I think we made a couple tough plays, a couple mistakes leaving their shooters, and this is something I was concerned about. Heading into that game, they shoot the hell out of the ball, and they can really spread you out, and Pickett can really just get down in the lane and find people. I do like what we did with Pickett and really shadowing his right shoulder or his right hand, making sure that he had to turn over that right shoulder and play a lot with his left hand, which I think limited his scoring ability a little bit. But if you look at it, at the end of the day, he still had 11 dimes. He was still able to get 2 feet in the paint and make plays and find shooters. And then I think it comes down to we just didn't make enough plays down the stretch. We had a couple plays where, Boo had shot some floaters that just rolled off the front rim. We had a chance at offensive rebounds, kind of fumbled them out of bounds. And then, down the stretch, we just weren't able to score. We had a lead, 4 minutes to go, and we were getting stops. It just we just didn't execute down the stretch like we typically do or have, over the course of the year. And in the end, they just made more plays. I think Boo said in his post-game interview versus Rutgers, they took a really long look at that film and probably saw, 40 plays where they made the wrong decision or didn't, make the right rotation, something like that. And if they could just have 5 of those back where they changed the outcome, we would have probably won that game handily. So, we were able to take a look at the film, go back to the drawing board, and really put together a solid effort versus Rutgers. So it was a great bounce back for us off a 3-game losing streak. We could have easily cashed it in and say, you know what, we got our 11 wins. We had a Cinderella season going, but in the end, we really stuck to our calling card, which is toughness, energy, effort, and really put on a great show at the Rack last night.
Definitely, and pretty much kind of piggyback off what you said. Kind of like that tale of two half things that we talked about. Pickett did a great job of facilitating and finding guys. No, he didn't score like he's capable of scoring. And I think we did a really good job of taking away his, scoring abilities. I want to give a shout out to Brooks Barnheiser, though, who you've been really high on all season. He's really become that third consistent scoring option for us. What was he, 5 for 5 in the second half? Going crazy, coming off the bench, giving us that energy. And his play, carried over to that game at the Rack. As you see, Boo was in some foul trouble early on. And, the bench, they held it down for him. Chase didn't have it going offensively, but Ty Berry stepped up. Even Matthew Nicholson had a career high, 4 blocks. In there he's dunking everything off the lobs now. So as a team, everybody's stepping up. And then you got to give credit to Boo. Even though he was in foul trouble, didn't have it going in the first half, for him to come back in the second half and take over down the stretch like he did with those 14 points and 3 threes, that was huge. And, our backs was against the wall. Going into that game, it was a lot of pressure. Everything went the way we needed it to go. All the teams lost that we needed to lose. And we knew if we win, we get second place. If we lose, we're in 9th place. So that's a pressure situation in itself. What are your guys' thoughts on that as players, playing in college games, big games like that? What are your guys' thoughts on that? How do you prepare for something like that with all that pressure and everything going into it?
Yeah, and if you even look at the beginning of that game, Rutgers started off hot too with the lob off the first tip. Play of the game. Yeah, off the tip. I think it was they went on a scoring run to start the game, and then I think we got in. We hit a big run after that, and I don't think we ever gave up the lead. But for sure, that's a high pressure game for Northwestern. Rutgers didn't have as much to lose because I think for them it was 8 versus 9 seed, but 2 versus 9 that's a crazy difference. So, and then coming off a losing streak like we were, that was a high pressure game. But I think the Cats did exactly what we needed to in terms of sticking to our guns, which is the defensive consistency, always having that toughness. Helping each other out, everybody knowing their roles and playing the right way together. And I just want to say, the way that we trap the ball in the post, I don't think I've ever seen another basketball team at any level do it as well as we do it. And it's unbelievable. We did it against Purdue. We've done it against everybody, and it doesn't matter. And not only are the traps good, but the rotations are great. And, I think that's really impressive the way we do that. But, for us to come out, have a bad start to the game, but then respond. And like you said, Juice, I think the biggest thing in this game was because we all know it's been Chase and Booth that are leaders of this team and the guys who have been running the team the whole year. To the game against Rutgers the other night, that was everybody else's chance to step up, make the plays, and take their opportunity to do what we needed to do to win that game. And that really, because we knew that Chase and Boo can do it consistently. And in a night when they, Boo got it going down the stretch, but in a night when their scoring production wasn't like it's been all season, to see guys like Brooks and Matt and Ty step up in one of the biggest games of the season was great to see. And I think that's a great outlook for the rest of the season for us too, the way they stepped up.
I like what we got going towards the basket, right? Is like, we weren't hitting shots. Neither team was, but I think we were the aggressor in terms of taking it to the rack. And, Brooks was fantastic. He has been that way for the last, the month that he's had, deserves national recognition, right? The stuff that he has done off the bench, he played 33 minutes or something like that last night. And, he's playing, he's playing starter minutes, right? It's like the old saying is like, it doesn't matter if you start the game, it's who's finishing the game, right? Who are your gamers? And he has quickly become, that guy for us. Someone that we could trust with the ball in their hands, someone that is not making poor decisions, and someone that can really get downhill and start and score. His body control.
And he had 10 rebounds.
Yeah, 10 rebounds, double-double.
10 rebounds.
The guy has been absolutely, like Drew said, just been absolutely hooping. And, it's serving us well heading into, the toughest slate of the year. And, it seems like when some people are declining, right, and some people are getting tired, he's seeming to, really increase his production. He's starting to get by people more, right? I think he's just playing a little bit quicker. The game is slowing down, and he's using that nice first step that he has and that good handle that he has to his advantage. And if he's stretching out a bigger 3-man or, a 4 that's going to have to guard him when we go into that little bit of a smaller lineup, he is a mismatch and a half and has really been able to get downhill, make right decisions, whether it's getting to that little turnaround jumper he likes, getting all the way to the rack, or using his facilitating ability to get others involved. So I've been really impressed with his play all year, but especially over the last month.
Definitely. And a couple stats, I got to point out, I'm big with the stats. We're 12-0 now this season when we out-rebound the opposing team. And, we're 20-1 when we hold teams under 64 points. So like you guys been saying, our bread and butter is our defense. We keep that going into the Big Ten Conference tournament and the NCAA tournament. We're going to be more than fine and make this deep run.
We're a tough out. We got that bag. We got that bag of plays too.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Especially you talk about the tournament runs. The Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament are games that kind of tend to be high pressure, and teams are a little bit tighter, and that's kind of the games that we thrive in, is the defensive battles and holding teams to, like you said, Juice, that stat is unbelievable, holding teams under 64 points. And I think in these tournaments we'll have some games like that. So I think that plays to our strength.
Definitely. And like you said, the guys got to step up, Ty Berry, Matthew Nicholson. That's going to be huge for us in those tight pressure situation games. We're going to need, everybody's going to be by committee. We all know Chase and Boo are going to have the ball in their hands, but in those tournament games, everyone's keying in on them. They got the scouting reports. Not that much time if you, advance, playing the next day in the Big Ten Conference tournament or in the NCAA tournament. You got, those short windows of preparation. So I think that's really good for other guys to step up and get that confidence going into this tough stretch.
For sure. And speaking of national accolades, Juice, I want you to comment on this. Some news out of the team today is that Boo was named a Kuzi Award finalist, which is a top 5 point guard in the country.
Unbelievable.
His magical season continues to come to fruition, and obviously all the hard work that you've seen him put in the offseason, working out with him. You've seen him get in the gym with his brother Taylor Battle and really just step into this leadership role. So he's not only being a leader on the, in the locker room, but, it's translating to the floor as well with, the ability to bounce back from a first half that he had, which was very uncharacteristic, right? He, had a couple turnovers early, had a couple silly fouls, and felt like he was really out of it. His teammates then, stuck by his side. He's been there to pick him up for the rest of for the majority of the year. It was their turn to pick him up. So I think that just shows his leadership ability there. And then his team was like, yo, but we got your back, right? And then, come down the stretch when we really needed some buckets, he had some big time threes in the second half, got to the rack, made a nice and one. and really iced the game away for us. So, obviously a tremendous accolade, top 5 point guard in the country, is deserving that national recognition, and I think is solidified into that first team All Big Ten as well, which is a tremendous honor.
Definitely. Congratulations to him. I mean, I really hope he wins that award. The Cats all around. We got Chase, defensive, player of the year, finalist. Coach Collins, he's in the running for, national coach of the year. Definitely he should get Big Ten coach of the year after the season that he's had with this team. Staying resilient, staying tough, keeping the guys focused night in and night out. And especially after being projected to finish 13th in the conference. And then we come out and finish second. That's an unbelievable feat. And that just goes, that's a testament to their hard work and their belief in themselves. But, as they've been saying in the media and everything, they're not done. They're hungry. It's a special, historic season. And we're all expecting it to continue to go further. And with that, we got the Big Ten Conference Tournament coming up. We can draw either Penn State or Illinois, 2 teams that recently beat us. And we kind of feel like we gave those games away in the second half because of some little simple mistakes that we felt as though we can fix. How do you guys feel about that? Any particular draw you want from that matchup, or who would you like to see us play?
I'm sorry, Mr. Juice. You said it's Penn State
or Illinois. So they'll play Thursday, and then we'll draw them Friday since we got that that double bye, which is something we're not used to getting in the Big Ten Conference Tournament. That's crazy.
Yeah. Highest seed ever for us, and that's great to see. That's great to see, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
But I like the way that we played against Illinois in the first game when we beat them at home early on in the season. I think we match up well, and I think our guys, I think we kind of feel that extra little push when it's against Illinois, the in-state rival, and I think that'll be a fun environment to play in. So I think I would love to see that matchup. But that's me saying as a fan, but also I think we do match up well.
It would be at the Friday night game, Northwestern versus Illinois at the UC. Whoo! Players would be popping off.
That should be a good one.
So
definitely should.
Yeah, as a fan, Drew, I'm with you, right? Like I think that's what everybody wants to see as a fan of the conference. Now, in terms of matchups, I don't mind either of them. I'm scared of Penn State at home just by the way they shoot the three. But their splits have been so mismatched on the road or in neutral sites. In terms of advancing, I think we would have a better shot against them. But again, at the same time, they're hungry. They're still on that bubble. They're like the last team in right now. So they still have a lot to play for. We're already solidified in. And, if they picked up that last win against us, well, it would be 2 wins. They'd win against Illinois, then versus us. They'd be a shoe-in as well. So I always fear the hungry team as well. And then in terms of our matchup with Illinois, we've played 3 really strong halves against them. We obviously took care of business at home and then came out firing at Illinois, and then, kind of had a shift in the second half against Illinois. They really popped us. They did. We let their guys do what they do well. We let Terrence Shannon get downhill to his left hand, which is where he's unstoppable. They turned us over. They got out in transition and got easy baskets. So, I think in a neutral site game where, we've been very good, I think either way we're in really good position to get to the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. So that since our first time and since 2017, which is where the last time we made our tournament run.
Yeah. I like that. I agree with both. For my take, I would love to see us against Illinois as a fan and, just watching Northwestern and supporting them. That atmosphere should be really nice, should be electric in there. And we've done a great job of playing in front of those crowds this year. And, we've been talking about Boo Buie as Bob Cousy Award finalist. I understand, as a competitor, you all know how that is. He had that big game against Illinois last game. We let that one slip away. But, there were some talks in the media about how they kind of slowed him down towards the end of that second half. And as a competitor, you remember games like that and things like that. So I would like to see that and see him really come out and have a big game against them and get that win to go to the semifinals.
For sure. And speaking of big games in the Big Ten tournament, Juice, I think you had one of those against Minnesota at one point in your career. Don't let Boo get 35, though, because that record might get broken.
Hey, if someone should beat it, it should definitely be him. It should definitely be a Wildcat. I would love to see him break it. And, I still remember that game to this day, sharing the court with you two. And it was just a good day. I just remember waking up. I felt good. And first shot went in. And you all know once you're playing, once that first shot goes in, it just does something to you psychologically. And we had a lot to play for. We were trying to make it to the NCAA tournament. We knew we would draw Ohio State next. And you remember at home, we felt like we let that one slip away. And they were the number one team in the country. So it was just a good game. And, I made some shots, but you all did, a tremendous job of putting me in the right spots, drawing, kicking, finding me, keeping me confident. So it was a great game. And, I'm excited to still have that record. But, if someone should beat it, I definitely want to see someone from Northwestern beat it.
It's 33, right, Juice?
Yeah.
35. Oh, it's 35. My bad. My bad. Hey, yeah, my bad. 35. But, hey. Honestly, with the rims at Conseco and those hard-ass TF 1000 basketballs, you probably would have scored 45.
Right, dude. Right out the box.
I forgot about
those balls weren't broken in. There was nobody dribbling those for a week or practicing with them. Those balls were fresh out of the box, and we were playing with them. The
brokest shoot-arounds or warm-ups we've ever had, literally.
Ever. We just like, what is going on in here, man?
Yeah, man. I've seen it a few times. When Juice gets that bounce in his step, though, that boy can't be stopped. That boy can't be stopped. I remember Saturday morning pickup games. Oh man! You had that ball in your left hand. Mm-hmm. Had that hesitation. You didn't know if it's a pull up or if it's a drive with the signature floater. But it was that was a great memory watching you. Being on the court with you when you were putting on that performance, a historical performance.
Appreciate it, man. Now, me and Alex talk about it all the time. I always bring up senior night. I know he says that's the only game I remember, but, of course, I remember like North Carolina State when you got that tech, and then you came back, knocking down threes and everything. But, that senior night sticks out because you really, I was in there crying. I couldn't make a shot. You stepped up. But then also, Drew, you had so many big games as well. As a freshman, we beat Purdue, the crowd rushed the court, you made big plays down the stretch. Oh, man, just so many memories sharing the court with you, too. Then, we got our off-the-court stuff, too. Like we talked about Sherman, the BK guy from Burger King, late nights. Sometimes we just went in there just to laugh and have fun. We weren't even hungry.
Yeah. Man, I just got to tell, the summer when Alex and I were freshmen, so the summer before our freshman year, Juice was the guy that took care of us, man. We went everywhere with Juice in that summer. We would sit with Juice driving, Kyle Rowley in the passenger seat. Shout out Kyle, and me and Al in the back seat. And we rode everywhere together. Whether we were going to play a summer league game, whether we were going to kick it at Loyola Park, or whether we were just driving through the city, seeing Juice's friends. We were always listening to good music, seeing good people, and those are some memories. That was kind of me and Al's introduction into Northwestern, and we always appreciated it, but we had a lot of good memories, especially in that first summer.
Man, yeah, we really got after it, man. We took care of our business on the court, but we made sure we had our fun, and we stayed out of trouble. That's the most important thing. We didn't get in any trouble. So
always,
that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. I'm grateful for both of you, and then just to piggyback off what Drew said, Juice, you were like an integral part of welcoming us to the team, right? Like. We didn't know anybody, right? We had been on our recruiting visits and obviously had signed our letters, but stepping on campus, you immediately made us comfortable and felt a part of the program. So that was your leadership style, right? Like you were a jokester and you were fun off the court, but when it came down to it, you showed us how to work hard too. You were always in the gym. You were always like one of the first to get to the gym and one of the last to leave. So, that was really instilled in us. And then they've been showing some seasons, some of Northwestern's most successful seasons, in history lately. And, us three were a part of two out of those 5. So I think, we obviously have a lot to be grateful for, but, the work that us three put in, as well as, the rest of the squad, is nothing to, is something to write home about. And obviously, I like to think that we have instilled that in the future generations, because obviously, some of the Carmody recruits did trickle into Chris Collins. Drew, obviously you being, the first to be, a real part of that, and kind of continuing what we had built, in that, 2008 to 2014 era.
Right.
Yep.
And likewise, man, I appreciate you guys. It was a lot of fun. That's what it's about. We're a team. We're going to spend, 4 years together. You got to make it like family. And, that's pretty much what it was. Now, Alex, we see you at the games. My kids running up to you talking stuff. Drew, we see you in the summers at the barbecues. And, those relationships that you build in college, it just continues to develop and become even stronger into your adulthood. So these relationships with you two guys and everyone else from the Wildcat family, things, you can't take for granted. And I'm very grateful for it. And, like you just talked about with Drew, his dad too, Danny C. We got to talk about him too. But also, Drew, you were one of the people that, got to play with Carmody and Coach Collins. So that was something I wanted to ask you about. With your decision to stick around and stay, how was that? Obviously, it went well, because I remember you had that big game at Wisconsin. And, when I was watching, I'm like, man, we can never win at Wisconsin at the Kohl Center. And Drew is in here going crazy like he's capable of doing. So what was that like to make that decision to stay at Northwestern, play for Collins, and obviously get those buckets the way you've been continuously getting them overseas too?
Yeah, that was I look back on that decision, and I'm still so happy that I made the decision to stay at Northwestern. It was a special atmosphere in terms of the people, in terms of the school, the people, the community, everything about it, my teammates, coaches, everything. And then with Coach Collins coming in and getting the chance to know him when I chose to stay, I saw his vision for the program and the things that he had to say about it. And he talked about being a bridge, being one of the first teams to be a bridge of the new Northwestern basketball era. And for me, that sounded like a special thing to be a part of. So for me to see the Cats doing so well now and to see Coach Collins having this success really makes me feel good, because I feel really a part of it, just like all of us should feel a part of it, because we help bridge the gap for this next generation. And I was really thankful to have my 1 year playing with Coach Collins, and in that 1 year I learned so many things about one, about the game, and two, about how to be a leader. And those memories, those experiences that I had really changed me as a person and as a basketball player. And it's really helped me in my professional career, the things that I learned from Coach Collins. And we still stay in touch now. And he even says that the team this year reminds him a little bit of the season that I played for him at Northwestern. I think those guys obviously now are a little bit more talented than we were offensively, but he said defensively we had a tough team. So looking back on those days, it's good memories, and I was happy to kind of be that bridge year between the old era and the new era of Northwestern basketball.
Yeah. Now we old now. We in our 30s. We the alumni now. We can't even get out there and run up and down with these young guys now.
Let's wind back the clock.
I get all these donations.
Let's wind back the clock though. I got a question for both of you. And Drew, you obviously were able to stay in a fifth year just due to injury, but now with NIL, right? It's a huge thing. And now Boo and Chase and Robbie all have COVID years that they can exercise to come back. If you were given that opportunity to come back to school for one more year and obviously get paid now and get that NIL bag, is that something that you would do rather than, let's just say, start your career overseas I had a pretty short-lived overseas career, but you all have had a substantial, 9, 10, 11 seasons. Would you exercise that year and take advantage of that NIL bag that you would get now in retrospect?
Me, I would go back in a heartbeat. Those 4 years were the best years of my life. And I mean, you hear it all the time. It may sound cliche, but it really is. Once you get there and experience, like, meeting guys like you too, Sherna, everybody else that we play with, for us to still keep in touch, play at the level in which we played at, make those memories on and off the court. Those are things that you really, money can't buy. And yes, had successful careers overseas playing, but it doesn't compare to, being at Northwestern University. And for me, being a Chicago guy, I grew up 10 minutes away from there. So having family and friends, I would go back in a heartbeat. And then that's, cherry on top of it, getting paid with that NIL and the way it is now. Oh, yeah. Man, we could have made so many more memories and, got our part of it. So for me personally, I would have went back with no hesitation.
I think we would have had Burger King deals.
Oh, yeah, easily.
They got Epic Burger now. We would have had Burger King deals.
Burger King, and Walk Brothers,
What about you, Drew? What are your thoughts on it?
I think I'm with Juice. I would have come back for sure. I did come back for a fifth year. So I made a decision to come back once, and considering that the NIL deals that guys are getting now, like Juice said, that's a cherry on top. And one, I think it's well deserved.
They got a back
the way that guys are able to be compensated for the hard work that they put in. So to be in college, to be getting paid to play basketball like you deserve, because it's a talent, it's something that you're giving to the public. I would come back too, and in another year with my guys, that means more than anything. Money aside, another year with my guys, that's really where it's a great feeling. Yeah. But granted, you also have to weigh in factors of your professional career. You have to, at that time you're talking to your agent. You have to hear the outlook of, draft prospects or overseas prospects or, combine, NBA pre-draft workouts. So all of those things will come into play too. So I think that's something that all those guys are going to have to weigh. Speaking with their agents and their families, and I hope all of them have good guidance in terms of that decision that they need to make.
Yeah, and to go more on what I was saying, my situation was when I came out of college, it was that NBA lockout year. So a lot of those NBA guys were going overseas. So I didn't sign till late because there weren't that many jobs available.
That's right.
And, I didn't have the greatest situation with my first agent. So that's also another reason why it was a no-brainer for me, because of that NBA lockout. But, when it really comes down to it, it was just the friendships, the fun, the situation at Northwestern. If I could have got a fifth year, I would have really, really enjoyed my time there for the fifth year. But also I would like to see, get these players educated on financial literacy and really how to take care of their money, because these guys are 18, 19, 20 years old with large sums of money, making more money than a lot of adults do.
Yeah.
And, even adults in their 30s, 40s, some of them really don't know how to manage that money. So I would really like to see for these guys really learn about investing and doing things with their money. So they're not just out here, oh, okay, I got this amount of money, I'm going to go spend it and buy this or that, because, that money doesn't last forever. The amount that you make, you're not going to make that for the rest of your life. So I would really like to see them get educated on that. Yeah. And Alex, what about you? Would you go back? What's your thoughts on that?
I would have gone back in a New York minute, man. I would have gone back in a second. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing that compares to, going out and playing at the Breslin Center, going on the road and playing at IU. Growing up in Big Ten country, it was always a dream of mine to play in the Big Ten. So, being able to be provided that platform and be able to do it 4 years, and then potentially an additional year, and set myself up for future success monetarily as well, it would have been a no-brainer for me. I really think that. And then something that I like that Northwestern is doing, with the, True NU Collective and their NIL portion, is their ability to give back to the community, right? And show the community that these athletes are more than athletes, right? They're more than revenue drivers. They're people they're people, right? They're people that care. They're going to be out in the community helping, and really giving back and using their platform, and this opportunity to their full advantage. So I really think that, that's important. And then the next evolution, something that you talked about, Juice, is, how do we set these athletes up for future success? How do we teach them how to, live like adults, right? You have, you have money now, you have responsibilities, you have, potentially family coming on board, or, different types of influences that weren't around you previously. How do you weed out the good from the bad? And, how do you set yourself up for even more success in the future? So I think that's the next iteration of NIL. And, hopefully we have those parameters in place, which I'm sure we do with, our leadership and, from the university down. I think that's the next thing that really needs to be, discussed and addressed as a program. But obviously, to make a long-winded answer sound shorter, I would be back, no problem.
I guess
he's back.
There we go. Hey, we got to make a comeback. They need to set up an alumni game or something so we can all get out there and play or something.
Ooh, if you had these knees.
Come on now.
You got to get in that cold tub. They got to bring back those Gatorade shooter shakes, man.
Oh, man. The originals.
Dude, I remember I used to come out of there with book bags full of those things, man. Dorm room or the apartment, refrigerator full of them. Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, the whole thing.
Chocolate only are the original shooter shakes. And I would come out like it was a boombox on my shoulder with a whole case of them. Take them to the crib.
We got.
Sometimes you could skip meals just drinking those protein
drinking one
shakes.
of that and one of those little protein bars.
I'm not a breakfast guy. I'm not a breakfast guy. I had shooter shakes for 4 years.
That's all you need. That's all you need. We got Alex, the Gatorade shake crook, and then we got Drew eating all the food, man.
All the food. I want to be at every barbecue. Invite me.
Barbecue, team meals. This dude, Drew, going up for third and fourth place. Like, man, we just finished the first one. Oh man, dude, those were the times, man.
Always.
There we go. So then we got NCAA tournament coming up. How do you guys feel? Because I know you guys, like Drew, you brought up how we trap, and you've never seen nothing like it. Me and Alex talked about it last pod. Why do teams throw the ball in the post against us? You know what's going to happen. One or two things. It's going to be a steal, or that pass is going to be delayed, getting deflected. Sometimes they're able to get it out, but those traps are unreal.
Can't replicate.
You got the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
You can't replicate it in practice. It's just one of those things, right? Like, and what I've seen lately is we're coming from a bunch of different ways. Like sometimes we're coming from the baseline even. A lot of times it's come from the middle.
And in the middle.
But yesterday we came from the baseline a few times, and I think it caught guys by surprise, and was maybe out of their peripheral. And then, in terms of trapping, it's like how many bigs in college are, extremely good passers? You're not playing against, highly skilled, European bigs all the time that see the floor like Jokic, or, have the ability to make passes over strong traps. So I think we're going to continue to do it. Obviously, it's gotten us to where we are, and it's just one of those things that is going to be tough to prepare for, especially if we get to that second game, or if we get to the weekend, you have a day to prepare for that type of trap. Yeah. Not something that can be replicated in a shoot around, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And one thing I noticed against Rutgers also is they weren't just posting the bigs. They tried to post some of the wings, some of the guards, against Boost, against some of our smaller guards. And something new I saw was a lot of the times the trap was coming from big Matt Nicholson, and To be a guard trying to play in the post and have the 5-man running at you,
that's different.
7-footer with his hands out, that's tough to play around.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really impressive to see the way he moved and into rotating with the traps as well. And also I love the way he hedges. I just have to say that the way he hedges ball screens, he's out there sending guards to the half court defensively, and then still getting back to his man in the paint. I really love his game and the way he plays.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good point. And I had one other question. I saw on I think it was Illinois podcast, they were talking about how with our Big Ten conference tournament, it's one of the last ones to end. And after the championship, Selection Sunday is right away. And we really don't get, a lot of time to recover, rest, and get prepared for the NCAA tournament. With our schedule, we had COVID and we missed some games. We had back-to-back-to-back games. Do you guys feel like that's going to be an issue for us down the stretch in the NCAA tournament? Coming from, the Big Ten Conference tournament, obviously we want us to make a deep run. Yes, we got a double bye, but do you think that can kind of weigh in on things for us as we move down longer on into March?
I think it can. I thought it was a great point by Bill. I saw the same thing, Juice. I thought it was a great point, and it makes a lot of sense. When you look at historical data of like how the Big Ten has performed in the NCAA tournament. I think our last national champion is in 2000 or something like that with Michigan State. Maryland won one a couple of years later, but they were in the ACC at the time. And us, ending at 3:00 Eastern and then having to travel, in a couple days' time and then go play, I think takes a toll. And then if you look at it, and if you're one of those teams that is in the first four, like Michigan could potentially be, if they can make a run in this tournament, they could be playing 6 games in 10 days or something crazy. Right. So I mean, I think it is, it's obviously for TV, right? Like it's all about money and broadcasting and television revenue, having that sole time slot for the Big Ten. And obviously it's one of the most followed conferences, if not the most followed conference in the country. So I get why it's there. But at the same time, I do think it is a little bit of a disadvantage to teams that are ending their conference tournaments on a Friday, a Saturday, or, you look at some of these mid-majors, they'll be done by Wednesday or Thursday this week. So there is a lot of time to rest, recover for some of these teams. Whereas, if you're a Big Ten team, probably one of the higher seeds that makes it to, the weekend, you could be playing a lot of games in a short amount of time, and that does stack up because these are highly competitive games. A lot of the time they're close, they're grinded out ball games, and that stuff takes a toll.
Especially this late in the season too. Those little nagging injuries, they can linger, can turn into something different. And then, like you said, we don't have that much time to prepare, which can also be an advantage for us because of the way we trap and play defense, and we know who our guys are. But that was one thing as, athletes, former athletes, or Drew, you're still playing. And, I wanted to see you guys' opinion on that. And obviously we've had success during that stretch. When we had that tough schedule after COVID, we've showed that we can bounce back right away and win and compete in games. But, now it's getting to the middle of March, towards the end of March, April. It can really start to really take a toll. So I wanted to see your guys' thoughts on that, because some other people in the Big Ten Conference felt that we were somewhat at a disadvantage with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would say, one thing that I feel like benefits us in terms of the fatigue and injuries and things like that is that the way that we're able to rotate guys. Coach Collins does a great job of putting his trust in all the players that play. He knows on certain nights, he knows who's got it going. He knows the right rotations. He knows the right time to give guys a breather. When Chase, when Boo need a breather, obviously those are our main go-to guys, and they're going to play the most minutes. But the way he's rotating and bringing guys in at the right time is really great. And I think we have a deep team because guys coming off the bench, even the young guys, when Martinelli comes in the game, he knows his role. all the guys on the team, they know their role. They know what the team needs from them to do. And our team is so unselfish that guys know what they need to do when they're in the game, and that gives us the ability to play more guys, to have a longer bench, and at the end of the day, that helps with fatigue. If we can split the minutes a little bit and give guys breathers, that helps a lot.
Yeah, and Chase coming into his own a little bit as a ball handler this year and being able to play the one, I think has given Boo a little bit of an opportunity to catch some breaks. And then, Drew, I think you hit it spot on with Coach Collins' rotations. He is a mastermind of getting guys an extra minute and a half around the media timeouts. Typically what we've seen is like, okay, there's, say there's like dead ball is like age 45 and we're going, and it's, the other team's rock going the other way. You hear that buzzer sound and Boo will come out, right? Because they'll get that 45 seconds, they'll get a defensive possession off, and then, they'll get the media timeout that's coming up next dead ball. I think he's done a really masterful job of managing minutes that way, where it may seem like Boo and Chase are playing 35, 36 minutes a game, but they're getting extended rests because he's been able to, get them an extra minute or two around those media timeouts.
Dude, that was a great analysis. Great to break that down. And then obviously, Drew, you played for him, so you really got to understand and see those rotations and how he thinks. So I think that was pretty cool. That's a great insight, man. Look at you, got the coaching future coming up, Drewski.
I don't know about that. I want to finish. I want to finish playing first, but
yeah.
I don't know. I love basketball. I love the game. So who knows?
I thought you were getting into officiating.
Do it as long as you can, man.
Man, I tried it. My dad tried to get me into officiating. I was in high school and started with reffing little kids games, and you know what? Those parents are killers. You make a bad call, those parents kill you. I was like, man, I don't know if I can handle this pressure from a third grader and their coaches and parents. So refereeing, I don't know. I'd rather shoot pressure free throws than make a pressure call as an official.
I feel that.
Got it. Okay. Well, yeah, Drew, we appreciate you hopping on this episode with us. Got the legendary Drewski on the episode, Danny C's son, Danny Crawford's son, who referees some legendary NBA games. Good luck in the game tomorrow. You and Sherna stay healthy, finish out the season. And, let's continue to root for these cats as we make this, this push for a Big Ten Conference Championship and this run for the NCAA Tournament Championship. Dude, I love that sweater. You guys got some vintage stuff. I gotta step my game up.
Oh yeah. Oh, and you all day, baby.
Go Cats. Second place, baby.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure always kicking it with y'all, keeping up with y'all, and I'm happy to see you guys doing well, and likewise. I'm excited to kick it this summer as always.
Yeah, man. I'm sure I see you guys randomly out some nights like we did before in the past summers, catching up at food places or some other extracurricular activities that we like to partake in.
That's right.
Yeah. Shout out to the people at New Amendment. Where can you catch us at, Alex? Where are we located with the podcast?
Everywhere you get your podcast. You can catch the video version on YouTube. You catch us on Apple Music, Spotify. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram. Check us out at the live event coming up at Over Under Sports Bar from 3 to 7 on Friday, March 10th as well. That'll be lit. So, catch us wherever you get your podcast episodes. We appreciate all you. And as always, go Cats. Drew, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you, bro.
Beyond the Big Ten is a network of podcasts that aims to be your go-to resource for all things Big Ten. We cover the entire conference with shows hosted by ex-players and athletic alumni, aiming to be your go-to source of information and entertainment for your favorite team. Hosted by ex-Big Ten players, media, and insiders, our podcasts are focused on giving diehard fans and those alums an inside scoop about the teams and people that make the Big Ten Conference one of the most watched and most talked about conferences in sports. We're excited to talk Big Ten basketball with you wherever you may be. Subscribe now.